schools are not drivers of spreading coronavirus, and schools need to be open. It is a bad public health policy to have schools closed. And so today, all 67 counties in Florida are open for in-person instruction, including Miami-Dade County and Broward County. We have more than 60% of students in Florida, 1.8 million, are receiving in-person instruction. And if you talk to superintendents, talk to Richard, we have a lot of parents who want to get their kids in person. Now, some districts made them make a choice, and you had to stick with that for a little bit, but we're not seeing very many parents say, I don't want them in person, I want them to go virtual. Once they're in and the schools are operating, most of the parents are looking at, okay, how do I now get my kid in person? But we have to face the facts. There was gaps in learning that were that built up over March, April, May, and June. Of course, over the summer, although we did work to get summer instruction available for many students. But having the kids back in now in many parts of the state, you're talking about 2 months that the kids have been back in, and I think that that's something that we can look. And now, pretty much everyone acknowledges that having schools is open is the right thing to do. You've had all these different media publications that have looked at it, and they wanted to say schools are bad. I mean, that was more of their orientation. But it doesn't matter if it's in Asia, Europe, United States, all across the Sun Belt, all across other parts of our country, we've seen that having in-person instruction is vital, and it's something that needs to continue. We're also happy that fall sports resumed here in the state of Florida in all 67 counties. That would not have happened without the state's backing. In fact, there were many people saying that this was going to be a big problem. Actually, it would have been a big problem to deny all our student athletes the ability to compete. I've been able to attend a football game and a girls volleyball game, and Casey and I look forward to getting out to some other events as we go. But I think what you've seen here at the Classical Academy is really a great example of leadership. I mean, the teachers here were chomping at the bit to get back into the classroom because they understood their students needed them. And you have the percentage of students here on free or reduced lunches. What is it? It's pretty high, right?
It is. It's over 50%.
Over 50% free and reduced lunch. And so we had a situation where a lot of the affluent families, they could hire tutors, they could do pods, and God bless them for doing that. I don't begrudge anyone for doing that. But a lot of our low and middle income families, they didn't have that option. And so they needed to be able to have their kids in school. And so I think that a lot of our charters really led the way, a lot of the private schools, because they did not have to deal with political opposition from the union. And the union filed lawsuits. They've gotten totally dismissed out of hand those bogus claims. But their goal was to keep kids out of school, and they were wrong. And we can say that the charters and the privates did a great job, and so many superintendents throughout the state of Florida worked very, very hard because they had to deal with a lot of this political movement, but they put their kids first. And so I'd say up and down the state, we have some of the best superintendents in the country. So I'm really, really glad to be able to be here. You're going to hear from some of the teachers. You'll hear from Richard a little bit more about some of the things that are going on. But I think we can say this. Going forward, whatever the future may hold, school closures should be off the table. They don't do anything to mitigate COVID, but they do cause catastrophic damage to the physical, mental, and social well-being of our youth. Let's not repeat any mistakes of the past.